Hi, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Genesis and welcome to my little gaming corner. For today, we have a speed build in The Sims 4. I'm actually working on my 100 baby challenge house. I hated it, despised it. Right now I'm deleting everything and putting the things I do want to keep in inventory. This build was pretty much difficult to say the least because I had no idea how hard it was going to be to work with the floor plan that was already in hand. So yeah, I struggled a little bit there. I ended up deleting all the walls. I'll be honest, I ended up deleting the whole damn building at the end of it, but I went ahead and took a break from the house itself and I moved on to the garden. I knew I wanted something floral, something girly, something pink, and I actually had just gotten the cottage living pack. So this pack actually came in clutch because it was so affordable compared to other things, and it was so beautiful and just the vibe that I was going for this house. I was trying to make it very homey, very family orientated, so like very cozy vibes, and I think I pretty much executed that. But here I am working on the frame of the house, which, like I mentioned, I had no idea what the heck I was doing. I knew I wanted like a little bump out, but it just was not working out because I was spending money like crazy on these walls. I thought I wanted a 2-story house, but we didn't have the money for that. So I was trying to sell things that I had in my inventory. I was trying to make it work. But this roof right here, guys, I only left it in so you can see how difficult it is to roof, especially with houses that you just don't have an idea. Like, I went into this with no plan, no thought. This roof was a disgrace. I apologize. But this is just to show that you don't have to know how to work every thing in this game. Some things you learn along the way, and you learn by just trial and error. I ended up scratching this whole shell again. How the heck was I gonna furnish this whole house with 8,000 simoleons? It was not gonna happen. So there I am, deleting everything once again. I think I'm pretty happy with what I ended up with. I ended up going with a little diagonal entrance, thinking that it would help my mind with the little bump out that I wanted. It did add a little bit of dimension and interest to the build, but it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. So hopefully in the future, when we have some more money, I'm able to, accentuate this house. So I settled for a little roof bump, and I think I was pretty happy with this. Just made the entrance stand out, and I did a basic roof for the rest of the house. Yes, it's still a square. There's not a lot of dimension to it, but I really like that little angle, that little entrance angle. Yes, she came through. So for the accents of the house, I went with white. We did a white door, white windows, and the reason I really wanted this little roof bump was because there's a window that comes in Cottage Living. I believe it's Cottage Living or the Crystal Creations, but I really wanted to use that window because it's so pretty. And there's actually a few different alternatives. They have a butterfly one. If you probably know which one I'm talking about by now. So here I was really trying to make this entrance pop out a little bit, and I thought that the way to go was these poles, but as you can see, I had no idea how to place them, what looked the best. So I kind of put that to a side for a little bit, and I was trying to work on the exterior walls. And because I wanted this entrance to pop, I was trying to go for a very brick entrance, and then the rest of the house to be side panels. Is that what these are called? I don't know, but you see it. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, so these poles were the death of me. I had no idea what looked the best. I kept going back and forth, and luckily Cottage Living, or is it the Pets? It's the Pets pack that came with these side roof anchors, I guess is what they're called, and I really liked how that looked. And I ended up just doing the whole house brick, and I kind of liked it. that's the window I was talking to you guys about earlier. But I ended up scratching that window. It was not that it was just too girly, it was just not the vibe I was going for. But luckily there is a window, same shape, same vibe, but it is all white. And for the roof, I really wanted to do something different than what I normally do. So I went with like a brown reddish brick roof, and I really liked how that added some color to the build. So here I am picking the windows. I ended up switching for that window specifically. I just loved how it made the whole house look. I was really trying to use that butterfly window because I love butterflies, but I went with what looked best and what looked more for family. I actually really love these windows. I don't really use them. In my normal builds, I go for a lot of darker accents, so I never really got to see the white tones of some things. So for this next part that I'm about to do, I actually wanted to do a little bit of a pathway for the entrance. I struggled, you'll see, I think I left a little bit in the clip. I struggled to use debug, guys. If anybody knows how to fix that, I put in all the cheats. I went back to the main menu. I tried everything I could to make debug work because I did not want to spend money on landscaping. But at the end of it, I just ended up settling for this little pathway that I really do like how it came out. But I really think that if I would have added a little bit of more bushes, some more trees, a little bit of flowers here and there, it would have really made this house stand out a lot more. But we were on a budget and I had no idea how to make debug work. Like I said, I even took a pause from the build and I tried Googling it. I asked ChatGPT and it was like no one could help me. I ended up going into the inside of the build. I was trying to go for like a open floor plan, but that didn't really work out because I needed a little bit of separation, and I also forgot to build a restroom at first. So you'll see in a little bit that I ended up closing up a part of the house for the restroom. So for the aesthetic I was going for, I really wanted to keep it modern yet rustic, kind of like almost like an old touch to it, because this is a single mother, so I wanted to keep the storyline very much alive. And you know, in my mind, the way that this works is maybe she got this furniture from her mother, or her aunt, or someone passed away and left her an abundance of furniture, and you know, her being a single mother, she's gonna take it. She's gonna take it. Speaking of single mothers, have you guys seen this new show or movie? I'm not sure if it's a movie or a show, but it's on Netflix and it's called Straw. I've seen snippets of it on TikTok, and the acting, beautiful. It feels so raw. You can genuinely feel the emotion of this actress. She's a single mother. She is struggling, and it feels like she's not been given a break, and it's very touching to the heart. So like I said, a single mother is going to take any help that she can. So I wanted to keep that very much alive in this storyline that I'm having built here in my 100 baby challenge. So this was probably I say that about every room, but the kitchen, I always love building kitchens. But this kitchen itself, maybe it's because I hadn't used the cottage living countertops yet, but this kitchen in itself was so beautiful. I loved how it turned out. And this is what I mean when I say that cottage living came in clutch, because that stove was only 600 simoleons, guys. Only 600. Thank God that I kept some of the cluttered items because we did save a little bit of money there. These items I had purchased in, I think, the second or third episode of the 100 Baby Challenge, which, talking about that, I kind of missed my deadline this past weekend and I did not upload a fourth episode, so I do apologize for that if anyone was waiting on that. But don't worry, after this video I will be working on episode 4, and it'll be actually in this house that we will be starting the episode on. So I'm very excited about that. You guys will get to see the new house in its glory, and hopefully, you know, we have a good episode, because the last few were running for my money. It was a challenge to really get something done in the last episode. I will say that we had a fire going, we had everything break in the house, so I don't know what that was about, but I love a good challenge. So thank you, Sims. Thank you, Sims, for the challenge. I will gladly take it. Since this is my first voiceover, I'm not too sure when the appropriate time to shut up and just let the video be by itself. But you guys let me know what you prefer. If you prefer me to yap all video long, I will gladly do so. But I do want you to enjoy the decoration process, so I'm gonna let that speak for itself for a little bit. I'll still hop in here and there, but overall, I don't want to bore you with my nonsense. Okay, so moving on to the restroom. The restroom was a little bit of a challenge just because you don't want to splurge too much on the restroom if you don't need to, especially for like the little decorations that you can't even use. And I knew I needed a tub shower, but laying it out was a little tricky. So I ended up adding a little bit of space onto the nursery, I mean, taking away space from the nursery, but I quickly realized that I could make it work with the little space that I had originally set out. So I went with a very neutral tone restroom, so it's a little boring, but hopefully, like I mentioned before, with a little bit of extra money that we gain, I can clutter it up a little bit more, make it look more lived in. But for right now, this is what I had to do. Yeah, let me know what you guys would have done differently in this build, what tricks you use. One thing that I love about the Sims community is that everyone is so open to sharing their tips and tricks. And I used to be the person that I would go to YouTube to see other people's content to get a little bit of inspiration on how to build, how to do a gameplay. And it's very much a whole 360 to be the one making the content now. So I do hope that this inspires someone to, change a little bit of their boring or outdated routine of building, and maybe inspire you to do something different with your gameplay, maybe challenge yourself. At the end of the day, that is my goal, and I know that is a lot of creators' goal, is to just be very much open to new possibilities in The Sims, because it's only boring if you make it boring. You have to use your imagination with this game. So for this nursery, I really love how this came out because I normally make nurseries per child. This was my first time building for 2 babies in 1 room, and I really liked how I went for a neutral kind of base, and that just made the rest of the build super easy because I knew what colors to go with and what colors to stay away from. But I didn't make it super beige and boring. I think what really pulled this together was honestly the wallpaper and the little details that I added. Again, trying to keep the budget in mind, but I do like how this turned out. The baby room was the only room that got some curtains, and that's because I am very much of an advocate for babies' privacy. We must protect the babies. I don't care if they're just virtual entities. They must be protected at all times. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So at this point, I was pretty much done with the important things, and I realized I had a little bit of extra money to splurge on a few items. And I ended up getting my matriarch a record player so she could listen to music and not be depressed the whole time that she's working from home and taking care of babies. So that's gonna come in handy with her mood. Now, I did want to add wall art, but I didn't want to spend money on it, so I thought I could out cheat the system by doing it through the gallery, and that did not work out because when I would go into the gameplay mode, the art gallery that I had put on the build would just be blank, and I gave it a few tries and nothing would work. So if anybody has any tips on how to get this to not disappear while I'm in gameplay, I would very much appreciate that. I don't know if it's a certain setting that you have to have on or what, but I really liked how the plant wall art was looking, because my sim is a gardener, she's a writer, so I was trying to give that vibe, but it was not working out. So while I was going in and out of gameplay mode, I noticed that I had a baby missing, my baby Lorenzo, my little demon baby, and somehow he got stuck on the roof. I don't know how that happened, but I had to go and do a whole workaround to get him, and it was just a funny moment, and I wanted to share it with you guys because The Sims never fail to surprise me. But this is actually the end of the video. I am going to show you the walkthrough of the house. This is the entrance, a very lovely homey living room without a TV because electronics kill brain cells, and you know, I don't want my babies to have no brain cells. But we have the basic beautiful restroom. Hopefully we can add a little bit more to it just to make it a little bit more homey. I love how the nursery came out. It's very neutral yet colorful, and that's exactly what I was trying to go for. I love Marisol's bedroom. It's very much her and her personality. She's a very flirty, girly girl. So I think I did her well. If you guys enjoyed this build, make sure you stay tuned for episode 4 where you will get to see this house in its glory. I suck at outros, but like always, my social media links will be left in the description. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and if you enjoyed me and this time that we spent, why not subscribe? Yeah. Anyways, thank you and goodbye.